she gets a break when she's invited kind of last minute to a business trip in London.
London?
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew you were going to say it. I almost put it in the outline, like pause for Ryan to say London. In London! Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List. And this week, love is in the air. Or wait,
I don't think that's love.
That may actually be the pizza we lost, and we'll find it eventually. We'll get there. We'll find it.
That's the pizza that we made for Scream It Off Screen when we had our Red Bear pizza.
The thing that happened 2 years ago. Yeah. Oh my god. We finally found it. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. But yeah, in case you haven't picked up what we're putting down here, we're talking some romance here. Romantic movies. By the time you guys watch this, it'll be a little less than a week away from Valentine's Day.
It's getting close.
So, it's interesting, not to sidetrack us here too much right out the gate here. I've been seeing more and more advertisements for like companies who do like stuff for people who want to like get back at their ex. Like I just read one today. Yeah. This one may be actually one of my favorite ones. A UK company, a salvage yard, I should say, over in the UK is offering you to be able to send them the name of the ex, write it on the car, and then they crush the car. That actually may be my favorite. That may be my favorite one actually.
I like that.
Yeah. And if the person is like an auto fanatic, you can maybe do that anyway, and they may actually like it.
Yeah,
that could work as a gift or an anti-gift to an ex. That's a 2-in-1.
Yeah, that covers all the bases.
Yeah, right there.
That's interesting. I've never actually really thought of that, but I think that would be fun for some people.
Well, you hopefully aren't thinking about that because you're in a good, healthy relationship and everything, right?
Yes.
All right, then. Yeah. So who better to talk about romance than us two right here, right now? This right here, this is a picture of romance right here. Well, not, I mean,
Us, right? This is it.
All right. One thing that people will be doing here these next few weeks, watching some romantic movies of all types of genres and whatnot.
Maybe not watching romantic movies too.
But I think you got to kind of stick with the times here. You know,
I'm not saying the romantic movie is not on.
I'm saying we're going to be talking about some very conventional ones.
Yep.
But I think we're going to be talking about some unconventional ones too. Some for everyone.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying the romantic movies might be on, but they just might not be watching them.
Okay. I get what you're saying now.
Yep.
I get what you're saying now. Okay. I was that went right over my head. That one, you could play that one back, and I didn't pick up what you were letting down there at all. But let's just get right into the opening spotlight then. Best romantic movies, again, kind of in our opinion.
Yep.
Like I said,
strong opinions.
Yeah. You can trust us here on this one. Yep. We're also mentioning this because we are continuing our partnership with the Marshall-Lyon County Library this month. The display is set with love. Some of these movies we're going to be talking about here will be on display there, but we kind of just did a general like best romantic movies that we've seen. We each gave like 4 suggestions. Yep. In the past, the library has put in a few of their own.
Yep. They have a couple more.
It's always kind of a nice surprise too to see what else they come up with there. So if you want a little help, if you can't decide, if maybe you're one of those couples that just doesn't watch anything because you're just scrolling through the Netflix queue, let us solve it for you.
Yeah, we got you.
Head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library. You could check it out there. No charge. Just make sure you bring it back on time. And there you go. Nice movie night for you right there. So head on over there, check that out, and see what we got suggested over there. Like I said, a few of them will actually probably bleed over into this discussion here. Mm-hmm. So you'll know a few of them going in, but some of them may be a surprise as well. But let's just jump into it here. Once again, like usual, I kind of broke it down into categories. I like to spread it out a little bit. I like to cover a few of my bases here. So let's just jump into romantic comedy. One of the most popular, one of the most profitable, probably genres out there.
I wouldn't say profitable per film, but profitable in general.
Yes. Some are hit and miss, like every movie.
Yeah.
But these are some of the ones you see the most often get released here. So let's talk some romantic comedies. Ones that you can have some fun with, but also laugh a little bit here. Yep. I'm going to go first with mine here. I gotta go with The Princess Bride.
Yep.
I mean, that is one of the most romantic movies ever. It turns young Fred Savage from not liking kissing to, well, I don't mind it as much anymore. And I have a feeling he wasn't the only one. I have a feeling a lot of kids in the audience, or maybe even some adults in the audience when that movie came out, were kind of feeling the same thing. Like, this is a love story. I thought I was going to get knights and pirates and all that. And by the end, you're like, yes, you go, Buttercup and Wesley. You go. You fall in love. That's what I want. I don't know. It's got me smiling throughout the whole movie. It's got fun adventure, great sets. Just a great acting all over, and it's funny, like I said. So that'd be my best romantic comedy. What do you got listed down here for yours?
The one I decided to go with was 50 First Dates. And I think some of that too, it might not be his best romantic film or funniest film, but I just think it appealed to a wide audience. I love Adam Sandler. Weird story about Drew Barrymore, though. I actually did not like her for a very long time. I just had I don't know why. I just did not like her. And then I read up on some of her past, and she's also in the Guinness Book of World Records, too, for something like her dog saved her from like a house burning down or something. And
so is she in the Guinness World Record?
She is in it.
It feels like the dog should have the record.
Yes,
here.
the
It feels
dog.
like the dog did the heavy lifting on that one.
And you'll have to fact check me. It was something.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah,
keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
Something like that. But I just thought their chemistry is great in this film. It also has one of the best side characters of all time from any other film in history, and that's Sean Astin. Many of you guys know him as Sam, and really funny. Great. The premise is really funny. Trying to find love through every single day, or like, I don't want to say it. Finding love every day for the rest of your life with somebody new, but actually somebody that's the same person. So it's definitely a good funny watch. Go check it out.
So I haven't found the dog one.
Oh, what is she?
But Drew Barrymore did, and I say did in past tense, have the world record for widest wig.
Yeah, that's not what
like wide as in wide, and then a wig that basically just kind of droops down. However, now it is currently being held by someone in Australian.
Oh,
in Australia. In Australian? That's not how you say that. In Australia. Okay, that's the 2017. Okay, let me try a Guinness World Record dog.
There is a small chance that when I was looking through this book in like 5th grade, that the picture of Drew Barrymore was just really close to the fire dog thing.
And
I just assumed that it was Drew Barrymore's dog. Because we are not finding evidence of it.
Yeah, Google's got nothing. Google's got something on everyone.
I'm guessing I just read the wrong box, and at that time I didn't like her, and I don't know why, because she's great, but she's awesome. But at that time, it was a weird time in my life. 5th grade, it's wild.
Let's move on here to another sort of sub-genre category. You know, we've laughed, we cried. Let's get a little bit more dramatic here. Ooh. Romantic dramas. Ones that make you think, make you feel a little bit more, stuff like that. Do you want to lead us off on this one here? I find it interesting you picked this one.
So for my choice, I'm going with the one and only La La Land. I believe it's the only one.
Probably.
That film.
You're so confident about it, we're just going to say that it is.
Yeah. That film stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Absolutely great, wonderful love story. And I felt somewhat of a special connection being out in LA. I used to live out there. Going to the Griffith Space Observatory.
Say that one 5 times fast.
Yeah, that is wild. I thought they did a lot of cool practical effects with the dancing, and some there's that classic video of them turning the camera between Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. That was really good. The songs were great. The singing was good. Very dramatic. The ending is maybe not what you would anticipate with most normal rom-com or romantic movies, but I think that was a good thing, and I think it made the film better. So yeah, that was my pick. One of my favorite rom-coms of all time, I think. Or I should say romantic movies.
Yeah, no, I did it earlier as well. It's easy. It's just nice and easy to say rom-com.
It is.
It really is. I agree with you. A little bit of a minor spoiler on this one here, so skip ahead, I guess. But yeah, they don't end up together.
Yeah,
but they do end up happy, and the movie does kind of show like an alternate timeline where it's like, I guess, sort of a hypothetical alternate timeline where they did end up together, and it's like they could have, but then they probably wouldn't have been as successful in their careers as they were. In this timeline and everything like that. So it is an unconventional ending, but I agree with you. I'm the same way, where it's like, okay, I see what you did there. You tried to do a little something different, and I appreciate that, and I respect that as well. Mine ended with a little bit more conventional ending here. Good Will Hunting. You maybe don't think of this as much of a romantic movie, mainly because I think the Skarsgård professor character is pushing Robin Williams, the therapist, to like get Will to think more as a mathematician, to kind of fix him in therapy to be like a good worker, a good productive society. Whereas Robin Williams' character as the therapist, he's kind of trying to build him up to have good relationships with people in general. Mm-hmm. He's doing his own thing. He's got his own agenda. He's like, I mean, look, he's already got the math stuff down. He's got that figured out. He needs to know how to socialize. And they have that great moment in the bar where they talk about like these mathematicians and everything. Some of them went down a dark path, some went down a light path. You know, what does it mean to be remembered? Well, okay, this person tried to be remembered and then was remembered in the worst way. It's a great scene. But like the scenes with him and Minnie Driver in this are really fun to watch. I think they have a lot of great chemistry in this movie. And yeah, he does kind of do the drive off into the sunset shot. Mm-hmm. He kind of does the, I'm going to go see about a girl kind of thing, which was kind of like an FU to Skarsgård's character, but it was kind of like you were kind of cheering for him on that one, I guess, a little bit. But I'm just going to say right here, there's no way that car is making it all the way across country. Like there's a reason why there wasn't a sequel, and it's because Will died in Iowa or Nebraska or something like that. Because there's no way that car made it from Boston to, where was it, L.A. I think is where she went. She went to the University of Los Angeles or something like that. Like, look, I love American muscle and engineering as much as the next guy, but that was an in-town car. That was not a cross-country guy. Anyways, but let's land here again on a little bit more of the unconventional. We talked about the drama. We talked about the comedy. What are some weird ones that maybe isn't known as well in the romantic sort of genre, but still hits a lot of the elements, and also maybe has some weird sci-fi to him? I noticed here, I kind of opened it up to fantasy. Yep. But I kind of covered that with Princess Bride. But we kind of both went a little bit sci-fi on this one here. So is it all right if I go first on this one here?
First,
I'm going to go with Palm Springs. This is a time redo day movie. There's got to be a better way to say that. Time loop movie.
Time loop movie.
Yeah, I just went the most complicated route there. It's just like Groundhog Day. It's just like all those others. Basically, these two people, technically three people, because J.K. Simmons gets sucked into the tunnel as well. Yep. There's a little bit of weird science going on here. For some reason, these three are trapped in this time loop on the day of a wedding. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing one reviewer kind of talk about how it's not an accident that this all takes place on a wedding. There's a part of the wedding ceremony that is kind of like, all right, you're choosing to be with this same person throughout the rest of your life, however long that may be. And that's kind of where the time loop aspect comes into it. It's like, okay, if these two can survive being together during this sort of time loop, then they could survive anything as a couple and as a relationship sort of thing. Yep. So that's kind of where that metaphor is. I love time loop stuff. I love Andy Samberg. This one has some interesting humor in it as well. But it also does all the time loop stuff. They do the crazy stuff. They do stuff because they know if they die, they're just going to wake up the next day, stuff like that. And actually kind of brings a little bit of science into it. Doesn't fully explain it, but like, with Groundhog Day, he just starts waking up. There's like nothing that says why he's doing this day over and over again. Yeah. Here it kind of at least lays a few of those breadcrumbs, but I don't know. That's kind of one I didn't like as much at first, but as I was kind of thinking about it later on the next few days, I was like, you know what? That movie had more to say than I thought.
Yeah. All right.
And what about you? Why don't you round us out here? What's your sort of fantasy adventure unconventional romantic movie?
Well, first I had a very tough decision because I picked two. The first one was Scott Pilgrim, and that's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right? Yeah, the proper title. And I decided to lean against it. That's a fantastic film, by the way. But I decided to lean against it and go with Her. This is a film starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. And I think it's so relevant today than when it came out, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, whenever it came out.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It is all about the relationship of Joaquin Phoenix to his phone/personal assistant, and kind of how technology plays a role in is starting to play a bigger role in society and love life and the kind of the AI world that we're slowly creeping into that is actually going super fast. Now, I wouldn't say slowly anymore. Mm-hmm. So if you're definitely interested in that, you should definitely check it out. Joaquin Phoenix is great. Scarlett Johansson, it's just her voice. She voices the operating system. So, yeah, check it out.
Hey, we talk a lot about movies on this channel, but sometimes the ones we talk about aren't the most accessible. That's where the Marshall-Lyon County Library comes in handy. They have a great collection of physical media, as well as a couple of online services with many options for movies, TV shows, and documentaries. It's easy. Just get your own library card at the Marshall-Lyon County Library and gain access to their large variety of movies, TV shows, and of course, books. Also, be sure to check back every month as we here at Popcorn Bucket List make specific movie recommendations based on a monthly theme. So head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library for some of our favorites and check out the channel to get even more movie recommendations. And now, on with the show! Her came out 2013. So actually a little over 10 years, but I would agree with you, even more relevant today than it was when it came out. And even when it came out, it was still kind of like we were starting to have those conversations.
Yeah.
So definitely ahead of its time. So hopefully people check that one. I have a feeling a lot more people are going to start checking that out, especially maybe this year and everything like that. But yeah, that's a little bit more unconventional romantic movies here. And that kind of perfectly segues us into our weekly preview where, we got a really unconventional romantic movie here to talk about. Let's just jump right into it. Friday, February 9th, Lisa Frankenstein is premiering here in theaters. Stars young stars Katherine Newton and Cole Sprouse. This ain't your mama's romantic story.
No.
This also ain't your mama's classic Frankenstein story either. No. This is a retelling in every way, shape, and form, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of down for it.
It'll be interesting. I don't know if we said yet. Diablo Cody wrote it. She's a fantastic writer, written some great films. It's got that certain like neon feel to it, almost like a neon edge to it, but it also has that like, I don't want to say like Tim Burton like goth look to it, but definitely a gothy feel to it. So it's gonna be a weird. Interesting movie. I will say it is set in the 80s. So that's a little bit of where the neon kind of gothic that you're kind of describing is kind of coming from there. So like I said, it's set in the 80s, so it's going to have a little bit of that nostalgic factor. Yeah.
That I think the movie doesn't really lean into too much. I mean, I remember the first time I watched this trailer, the Katherine Newton character, she kind of has that look, but I kind of thought she was doing that quirky thing. Where like some like modern day kids are like just dressing up like the 80s. Yeah. I didn't see it as much in the other characters. Yeah, now that you say that, that's a good point. Because even in like Stranger Things, she's very that kind of that look. Yeah. Granted, it's the same time. The big hair, the skirts, all that. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. But look, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This movie is kind of violent. It's a little gross. I think it's kind of funny and also a little heartwarming. Yep. It's got both of that. And it's got Cole Sprouse in it. I haven't seen him in anything since The Sweet Life. He's been in Riverdale.
I don't watch her.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I'm just saying he's been doing stuff. He's been doing more than his brother, I believe.
His brother's not doing much?
His brother's not doing much that I know of. Anyways, but yeah, so basically, I don't know how much I want to get into this trailer in this story because, like I said, it is a little bit more. I'm kind of surprised it was PG-13.
Yeah, I was too.
I thought I would have bet money it was rated R.
When they're, kind of taking body parts from other people to put them onto him.
There's some murdering here.
Yeah,
there's some murdering. There's some. There's crimes being committed. Let's be honest here. There's crimes being committed, but it's all for love.
Yep.
It's still a crime, but it's all for love. Anyways, yeah, I can't stress enough how this is not the most typical romance movie, but it's coming out on Valentine's Day. I believe there's an audience out there for this. I believe they're going to show up for it.
Oh yeah,
I think this one's going to do good, and I'm super looking forward to it.
I do too.
I really hope it does good.
I think it's going to be busy
because if this doesn't do good, we're just going to get more and more of the same romantic comedies.
Yep.
And that's a little bit of a preview of what we're going to be talking about here later on this weekly preview. But I don't know, any other thoughts we got on Lisa Frankenstein here?
Nope.
Cole Sprouse does a sort of a mime thing where he doesn't really have any dialogue the whole time. I'm also kind of looking forward to see that. He doesn't talk because he's like a corpse. So. Also coming out here this weekend, Suncoast. This one's coming straight to Hulu. This one is rated R. It is the semi-autobiographical story from this writer-director who basically had a younger brother who had a very terrible illness. Doesn't really specify in the trailer here what's going on here, but the brother in this case is pretty much immobile, almost like comatose. I don't know. It almost looks like he's in a coma.
Yeah.
And everything like that. The mother has to deal with the struggles of having a son with this illness and also trying to raise her other kid, main character in this movie, Doris, who now has moved to this new school and she's trying her best to fit in.
Yep.
And that's hard to do.
Yep. Especially in that situation.
Especially in that situation, in a new school. She kind of rebels here a little bit. This movie gave me some very big, Edge of 17 vibes. Mainly because Woody Harrelson's in this.
Yeah, and Woody Harrelson looks awesome in this. He looks like bearded. A very fun uncle. He's a little bit more.
Yeah, fun uncle. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah, he's in this too. The movie also stars Laura Linney. She's the mother in this, and she kind of has that terrible thing that I think parents reach at some point or another, where it's like the two kids thinking that, oh, mom's giving them more attention, they hate me, and then the mom has to do this juggling act. I have a feeling every parent's run into that at some point or another.
100%.
I like to think I didn't do that too much, but I know at one point or another I probably did. So, yeah, mom, dad, whatever. I'm sorry. Whatever. That's my apology, I guess.
There you go.
But also coming out here this weekend, Upgraded. This one's coming straight to Amazon Prime. Another R-rated movie. Oddly enough, the one about the corpse redigging was the only non-R-rated movie this weekend.
You know how many other films are called Upgraded?
I know there's Uploaded. That's a miniseries on.
There's Upgraded.
That's also on Amazon Prime. So that was really confusing for me.
Yeah, there's another film called Upgraded that's vastly different.
Oh, yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. That movie's awesome.
Yep.
This one is a romantic comedy about a young New York woman who wants to get into the art auction scene. She gets a break when she's invited kind of last minute to a business trip in London.
London?
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew you were going to say that. I almost put it in the outline, pause for Ryan to say London. I was trying to sneak it in, just keep going.
Just keep rolling.
Don't even give you a chance, and you're just like, nope, I'm going to say it anyway. After getting a second lucky break, she essentially gets upgraded to first class, where she meets a handsome London man. And another case of mistaken identity, a white lie is told. The guy thinks that she's the one in charge of this art gallery. Meanwhile, she's like a new hire. So she's like
bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, she's the bottom feeder here.
Yep.
But she's playing like she's King Shark.
Yep.
Or Queen Shark, I guess in this case. This is my problem with most romantic comedies.
And I agree with you 100% on this.
Why do they all have to be based on lies? It'd be one thing if it was one or two, but so many of them.
And not little lies. You might say it's kind of a white lie, but it is, you're lying about a good portion of your life saying that.
It always, and the movie usually tries to justify these things by going oh, well, they didn't lie, but they didn't correct them. And it's like, well, in this one, every time you don't correct them now, that's another lie.
That's another lie, yeah.
Well, I sound like a youth pastor right now here. Don't lie and everything like that. But it's like, what? But the other problem, the main problem, the reason why I have this, it's not that I've never lied before. I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm a saint and be like, follow my lead, my children.
Saint Nick?
Saint Nick. I'm Saint Nick. I never lie. Yeah, I lie too. Problem is, I deal with the consequences of them, and it feels like in these movies, there's never enough consequences.
Never.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a rift between the two characters at the end for that third act
for dramatic
conflict.
purpose to the penultimum.
Yeah,
and then it's fine.
Yeah, and then it's fine. They don't do enough to gain the forgiveness that the movie almost usually hands to them on a silver plate.
Yep,
and that's my problem
100%.
here. And I don't get why this is such a it's a story detail in so many of them.
Yep, it is a rom-com cliche.
Yes. And it's an issue. We're teaching people the wrong lessons here, people. Anyways, that's my rant. Sorry about that.
Actually, no,
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry about it. I'm telling people not to lie. I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to die on that hill. It's not a very big hill to die on. I'm going to stand on that one. But speaking of Riverdale, we talked about Cole Sprouse. This movie also stars Camila Mendes, also big on Riverdale.
Okay.
I know that doesn't mean anything to you and me. Other people out there watch other things.
Okay.
Right? I'm assuming someone out there has watched Riverdale. So if you recognize her, that's what she's from. The actual person in charge here, Marissa Tomei, Aunt May from the Spider-Man films.
Yep.
She apparently faked her death, donned on some sort of Italian accent. I'm not really sure what she's doing here. And started in our gallery in New York. She was like, I'm done with this Peter.
I'm done with this
Peter kid. He's
been holding me back for so long.
Been holding me back. Yep. Cut her hair. Do all that. Yeah, it's a weird accent. I don't know what she's doing with that. Yeah. Marissa Tomei's voice is fine.
Yeah.
It's a fine voice. I don't know why she just doesn't go with that, but. Well. But that's everything coming out here this weekend. Let's move on to some number one recommends. You know what? We both kind of had this happens every once in a while. I don't know how this happens. We have very similar movies here.
Correct.
And we didn't plan this.
Correct.
It didn't happen like this. Just happens sometimes. So why don't you let them know, what's your number one recommend here this week?
Dun, 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 dun.
Repel.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, we're gonna make Oddish. He's gonna repel to
the... If you couldn't tell, that was the very poorly version of the Mission Impossible theme song.
But it was just good enough to be recognizable, but poor enough so that we don't get copyright.
yeah, there we go. Yes, this week I watched Dead Reckoning. Absolutely, I really, really liked this film. Very classic Tom Cruise action adventure. Everybody else, Simon Pegg, Vic Rames, everybody else was great in this film. If you like Mission Impossible, you'll like this movie. Or if you like action and spy movies, the action was pretty good. You can definitely tell they did a lot of practical effects, which I really appreciated. The only thing is I wish I would have had the chance to see this in the theaters. I wasn't able to, unfortunately, when it came out, but I was able to watch it this weekend, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And I think we kind of talked, I think they're going the Avengers route with this. Used to be Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
You'll notice you called it just Dead Reckoning. Yep. In the theaters, it was called Dead Reckoning Part 1, but now they've kind of just sort of retconned that and just called it Dead Reckoning.
And I think they'll obviously come out with a new one, or the conclusion of this. It might be a couple of years, but there will be a conclusion. It was very good, very good.
Speaking of the spy genre here, my number one recommend this week was we did have a chance to check out Argylle. And from the director Matthew Vaughn, it is very much the look and feel of Kingsman. We mentioned that on the show last week. I stand by that. So if you liked the Kingsman movies, if you loved the Kingsman movies like I did, you're going to like this movie probably. Is it a little long? Are there a little too many plot twists? Yes, but I do think there's enough of the cast kind of carrying this movie where you're kind of like, you know what, I kind of want to spend a little bit more time with some of these guys here.
Yeah.
I'm okay if this movie is just a little bit longer because I want to see evil Bryan Cranston a little bit more.
Yes.
I'm okay if this movie's a little bit longer because I kind of want to see more Samuel L. Jackson and Bryce Dallas Howard working together or something like that. So Like I said, if you enjoyed the Kingsman movies, I think you're going to really like this one as well. Is it as good as the other ones? No, but I would argue the other Kingsman movies are kind of top tier.
Yeah.
So less than Kingsman is better than most.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. And who knows? Maybe there's a tie-in with Kingsman. Who knows?
Are we allowed to say that? Is that a spoiler? I'm still not convinced by that, by the way. I've thought about that a lot.
That's why we say who knows.
I'm not entirely convinced that was, maybe it was just an Easter egg. I don't know. There's a few too many plot twists, but anyways, good time overall. But that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. In case you haven't kept an eye on the calendar, Super Bowl this weekend. If you have a chance to watch this before the Super Bowl, our friends over at Minnesota Sports, they usually do like an annual kind of live show before that, kind of talk about that a little bit more. So go check out their channel and see what else they got to say about this Super Bowl matchup. I think it's going to be a good one.
Who are you picking to win?
I'm not going to say that because I'm actually leading in my family competition right now, and the first time in like forever, and I actually have a chance to win this one.
Okay, you're going to tell me off air then.
I feel like you're a spy for my family right now.
I am the world's greatest spy.
No, you're not. You missed last week.
Insert shot for last week.
Yeah, we established this last week. But also head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library to check out our display for the greatest romantic movies, in our opinion. Again, you look at these two faces right here. You think some romance, right? Right? There it is. And finally, check out the Marshall 6 Theater website for showtimes so you can check out what movies that they got over there. Some of them we have talked about on this episode and past ones as well. Yep. For myself and Ryan Meyerberg, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.
Chiefs by 4.